sleep in his tent. You a better brother than I am because I don't know what did that.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just that trusting and he was just that loved. And he made a difference in the quality. When I saw that, I was like, wow, okay. So it made me see him in another light. I was forced to see him in another light. I didn't see him as my little homeless little brother. I
Mm.
saw him as a man living in a situation, doing the very best he could that he knew how, and he was helping others. Come on now.
He was a leader in that community. And you said that is a community. And I have observed that sometimes when people are going through hardships, they are kinder to each other than those who have everything.
You better say that, girl.
Mm, mm, mm.
Kindness
Yes.
is the key word. I mean, literally give you the shirt off their back. It might be dirty and funky and filthy, but they would give, oh, you oh, little sis, you look like you cold. You need a sweater.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm talking about a giving heart. And I think that being in this kind of situation or circumstances, it opens your heart.
Yes.
So at some point, I hate to say this, but it's a thought that came to me, so I just got to share it. At some point, it's necessary for some people to be unhoused so they can have the experience to open their
Mm.
hearts. Just to open the heart, you just need a heart opener. That's all. Like you got a can opener to open a bottle of pop or beer or wine or whatever. You need a heart opening. Open up the
Yeah.
heart, open up the chakras, open up the mind, open up and stop listening to everything that you hear that is portrayed on media. My years in media taught me don't watch TV. Don't listen to the radio. I'm working at the radio station and I don't even listen to it
Because it's
because
a
it's
lot of propaganda.
it's a lot of programming and you are
Yeah.
thinking the way they want you to think. And as long as you think the way you think, you'll keep doing the things that you're doing and you won't get the results. So you
Yeah.
got to do the work. It's beyond a ministry, it's a lifestyle.
Wow. And you know what I have observed when it comes to how people treat those who are unhoused. There's an unkindness, a cruelty, a mean spiritedness, as if you deserve to be treated badly because you don't have a house, you don't have a place to stay, you're out on the street, you're scum. I mean,
You're
it's really cruelty inside of us. Like you said, some people need that experience.
Yes.
Go through a
Yes.
transformation. Neil Donald Walsh, who is the author of the Conversations with God book series, who I hope to have on this show one day, I'm putting that out in the universe. He speaks of his experience in being homeless, and how restaurants wouldn't even let him come in to use the bathroom because, he smelled bad. You look like you've been outside, you haven't washed because you don't have any place to wash yourself.
Hmm.
So the humiliation of not being allowed to use a toilet is so humiliating. And having people treat you like you're dirt, you have to kind of beg for change. He was out on the street for about a year before he finally was able to get some little job and pay for like a little, almost like a little garage in the back of someone's home just to have a roof over his head. But that whole experience really taught him a lot about how little things can be helpful. Just, spare change. I mean, you might be able to get a hamburger for the day if somebody just gave you a dollar or two, money that you can spare, but it means a whole lot to somebody who hasn't eaten for a couple of days.
It's different between day and night.
Hmm. So we really have been programmed
Yes,
to,
ma'am.
to look at people who don't have enough money to pay for a place to stay as if they should be treated badly because they did something wrong. And a lot of times there's the assumption that there must be drug addiction or drug abuse or some awful thing, or maybe they're a criminal. And so we feel like they don't deserve my help. They need to get themselves together. And we don't think about, well, if they had a helping hand, even if just a little bit, it could go a long way toward helping them get themselves together.
Hmm.
But
Makes all the difference in the world.
yes, we have been programmed to look at people with scorn, and it's so painful. We're
Oh,
gonna take a quick
good.
we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I want you to share with us maybe some of the stories that you've heard of people, how they happen to get into that situation. Sometimes It's just regular people
Stories.
go through a difficult thing, like like you've said, you're fleeing an abusive situation. Sometimes, people say, well, why is she staying with me? Beats her. Well, okay, what is the alternative? Living on the street? And are you ready for that? So
Mm-hmm.
people don't think about that. And then you have situations where people lose a job. And the landlord said, you can't pay the rent, you got to go because I need to rent this space to somebody who can pay.
Thank you.
I don't care that it's
Could care less.
degrees outside and you got two babies. No, get out. You can't pay.
You don't care.
So this is what happens. But we're going to come back and talk about some of the normal everyday situations, and then how willing are we to share space if we have it? Are we afraid of people because they're unhoused? Think about that. We'll be right back after this quick break, and we want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. You're watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif. Our guest today is Zelda Speaks, and she speaks to you today about helping the unhoused. We'll be right back, so stay with us.
The Soulful Chicago Book Fair, Woodlawn's premier summer event, returns to 61st Street between Cottage Grove and King Drive, Saturday, August 9th, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another celebration of literary works by and about the Black experience, featuring children's books, fiction books, and non-fiction works by local and international authors. The main stage will host an entertainment lineup second to none, with Pari Lemuel, Aniba and the Soul Stars, and the mesmerizing Moo Moo Fresh. Special guest, DJ Celeste. The community stage features a variety of family-friendly performances, such as DJ sets produced by IC Music, an organization that trains and promotes blind audio engineers. All this and more, Saturday, August 9th, free and open to all. Be there. Visit soulfulchicagobookfair.com for more information.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and we are joined with our wonderful Monday Morning Mindfulness host, Zelda Speaks. And we're taking a look at helping the unhoused. It's very painful when you suddenly don't have a place to stay and people are not sympathetic. And you mentioned the fact that sometimes situations with your family don't work out, because just because you're unhoused doesn't mean you deserve to be treated like a child. Well, you got a curfew, you can't be out late, you can't have guests, treating you like a teenager. But that happens sometimes, and people feel like, I don't want to be treated like I'm a child just because I'm temporarily going through a financial difficulty. I'm still a human being, I'm still an adult. But many times people feel like, well, if you can't pay, then you don't deserve the same rights as people who are living here and paying. And then they end up not wanting to follow certain rules. And sometimes rules are necessary, but then other times it's just kind of like, wait a minute, am I a teenager? Oh, I can't have guests. Oh, I can't come out past midnight, or can't stay out. I mean, it's just sometimes rules are necessary. So I have observed what happens when sometimes family members have opened their homes, and sometimes there can be conflict, just like you mentioned. Somebody's got a spouse. Well, maybe they're your sibling and they want to help you, but their spouse might not want to help. So how do you deal with that? Because if the spouse is not willing and open-hearted, then it's going to cause conflict in the marriage, and then eventually, your sibling's going to choose the the spouse over you, so you end up being basically back out on the street.
Hmm. Pretty much.
Yeah,
And the street ain't where you want to be.
definitely. It's
It
it's
is. It
it's a
is.
lot of things that you have to think about. Your basic safety, at night, making sure you're not attacked or robbed, or I mean, it's
Or molested,
molested. Yes,
abused, just all kinds of craziness on the street. I
yeah.
remember probably a couple of months ago, we go up on Wilson Avenue as well. Wilson and Broadway. I'm sorry, Wilson and Lakeshore Drive. And just as you are going north, and just as you come off of Lakeshore Drive and make a left, there's an underpath. And in that underpath, that walkway from the lake to back into the city, there's a lot of movement going on there. People are always walking, riding their bikes, walking their dogs, and then you got people who are living there under the tents. And not everyone is violent, but everyone has violent tendencies. So one day I'm there delivering, and I went alone. And Tony always tells me you cannot go alone because people are not always as loving or honest or open and receptive as you are. So you need to be aware of that. And I'm always telling him that my angel, my travel angel, my guardian angels, my ancestors are always sitting on my shoulders, guiding me, guarding me, and directing me. And I'll be okay. But since he comes from a background of law enforcement, he's Eagle Eye Tony. But that day he didn't go with me. And that is the day that some chaos broke out. And I had the common sense to make my delivery and leave. I never even told him about it. So hope he don't hear this video. Because he's a worry wart. And not only that, he's concerned about me, and I get that.
Yeah, because he knows the streets are dangerous and things can happen.
Yes. But nothing happened to me, but one of the ladies who was always very open and receptive to me, she snapped
Mm.
and she started screaming.
Uh-oh.
I do not possess the skills, and I know this. I know a few things, but I do not possess the skills to calm down an hysterical person. So I dropped the food off as I always did. I had a few conversations with a few people there, and when I heard the screaming, I turned around and saw it was her. She was having a conversation with a guy on the other side of the viaduct who was, I don't, he was cleaning up something, and he must have accidentally cleaned up something of hers and threw it away, and she snapped.
Oh.
So when I realized that, I said, "Oh, this is an ongoing beef that they have. I don't know what it is. I'm not about to find out. I'm not a counselor." I dropped the food. I said, "Y'all have a good day," and I left.
Mm.
That is what my guiding lights, angels, travel angels told me. Said, "Leave the food and go."
And get out of there.
And I went back the next week. She was okay. He was okay. And whatever it was, their issue was resolved. But I left because I
Yeah.
wanted
You
back
didn't break-
next week to serve them again without any harm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you said something significant earlier also about the fact that you don't judge. And I think that's one of the biggest hurdles that people have when it comes to choosing to help. They want to make it be that person's fault that they're out here. Well, they did something. They probably on drugs. They probably, if I bring them any money, they'll probably just use it for drugs, or they probably out here prostituting. Well, if you're selling your body, that means you need money, which, okay, you got to feed your children. But we tend to judge people as if they did something that caused them to deserve bad treatment. And we're very judgmental. And, I've observed this even, some people close to me, very judgmental, because ever since my husband departed back in 2007, in my home, periodically, I have housed people who might be going through a temporary difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
And share space. For me, it was always some type of a revelation that it was okay to trust them. Sometimes they would get, they say, God told me to come see you. And, I would just pray, okay, is this person legit? Because sometimes I might not know them that well,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to go with my spiritual sense.
Thank you.
And if people say you believe in God, you know God, you got a relationship with God, why don't you trust God when you ask God, is this person okay? Yes or no? Because God will tell you, no, you
It'll
need
be
to.
revealed. It'll be revealed.
Yeah, it'll be revealed. But if you get told, well, look, this person can help you out, or this person's situation, you may learn something from it, and it'll help enhance your life some kind of way. Trust that. Trust God. If you say you got a relationship with God, then ask God, look, you know this person. I don't, but you know them. You tell me, is it okay for me to trust them in my home?
Mm-hmm.
And then trust that answer and
Mm-hmm.
treat that person with dignity and respect. But a lot of people around me may not have understood. And so they would have all kinds of, well, they might be on drugs. They might be going through your stuff. Oh, they might steal from you. Or how do you know they're not going to be bringing people in your house to steal from you? I mean, all of those things. So sometimes there are challenges when you choose to help someone, but the people around you don't operate according to that same spiritual level.
Mm-hmm.
And they can say and do some very unkind things
Mm.
because they're treating that person as if they're scum.
Mm.
And just because somebody's going through a temporary difficulty doesn't make them less of a human being. So I'm seeing how we've been conditioned to scorn people because they don't have enough money to pay for a place to stay, as if that's a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, over the years, I've had various times where I've helped people by sharing space. And sometimes the response of those around me was, uh-oh,
Why are
you,
you doing this? What's wrong with you, Naima? Oh no, you can't be letting homeless people in your home. Do you know what they might do? They got cameras for that. And they also have the ancestors for that. Because, baby, if you are in contact, that little uh, meditation exercise that I do every Monday morning mindfulness, that is about connecting with your ancestors, connecting with the spirit, that inner voice that calms you, that guides you, that guards you, and directs you, that keeps you. That alone is enough for you to trust yourself. See, that's the problem. We not trusting us. So if we can't trust us, we definitely can't trust you. So I am still learning that the judgment factor is still in effect. I love, 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 love the experience that I had just last Sunday at Midway Alliance. Everybody knows I'm a bid whist player. Used to be a stepper, but I got too many issues on my right side to be. We're gonna leave that where that is. And as I am walking from one side where the ladies' room was to back to where I was sitting over on the other side of the street in the park, I happened to see a woman who is very obese. I'm considered obese myself because I weigh what I weigh according to American standards. And this woman was so big and beautiful. I had never seen anyone so big and beautiful in my life. I seen a bunch of big beautiful sisters because I'm in contact with them because I'm a big beautiful sister too. This girl's legs were so big and she was sitting down and there was so much, her legs and knees were so big. My old systematic way of thinking said, wow, she's so beautiful, but why is she showing her legs like that? See, I still got the judgment mentality. And this is a conversation I'm having back and forth in my head, right? While I'm walking across, just going back and forth. And something says, Zelda, that was once you, let it go. And I was like, oh, okay, I got that. I just see the beautiful sister. I don't see the big, beautiful sister anymore. I see the sister. I see the essence of who she is. I see the beauty in her because she had the boldness to come out and say, yeah, this is what it is. Deal with it because I'm dealing with it. And wow, the conversation just didn't stop there. It went on, and my mind telling me, okay, who else you judging out here? Judge, and you shall be judged. And I've been judged all my life because I've been judging folks all my life. What happened? One of the things that I am so, I don't know, the word is not excited, just aware of. How about that? There was a movie I saw where this man pretended to be homeless. I mean, you really couldn't tell he was not homeless. His hair was matted. You could tell he looked like he smelled. And he was on the street begging. And someone, a lady, came to offer to buy him breakfast. And she came back, brought him breakfast. And they sat there and they ate breakfast. She ate breakfast with him, sat there and made him feel like a human being because they had a conversation about whatever was going on in his life. And they sat there for a while. And after it was over with, she says, well, I have to go now because I have a sick husband at home and I have children. I have to need to go take care, but I just wanted to do this for you. And she would always see him as she went about her way every day because she had to go past him. And one day a man walked up to her and stopped her and asked her if if she remembered who he was. And she was like, oh, well, you do look familiar, but refresh my memory. And he refreshed her memory. He said, I'm the man who's been sitting on this corner for some time now, and nobody offered me anything the way that you did. Nobody sat here and talked to me and had a conversation. Had a conversation. And that conversation, excuse me, because it is these kind of conversations that we must have with ourselves. Because this is not about us. This is not about them. It's about us. And the way that we treat people. We, as a people, as leaders in the community, as a village of elders, it's our responsibility. Because we come from a place that looked out for each other. You look at people in the Caribbean and other so-called third world countries where they have nothing according to our standards. They don't have a big, beautiful place to live. Their housing is in shambles. They live. Sometimes people live on water in some countries. But their hearts are open. They have hearts of gold. They will give you anything. They'll give you, come into my place and sit. I got a can of beans. You can have half of it. Who does that? You do. You can do it. You were born for this work. You're just afraid. You're just afraid to step out and do what you know you need to do because it's been on your mind for some time. I know. How do I know that? Because it's been on my mind for some time. And that's how we move. When we stop tuning out, when we stop listening to what other people have to say, that's not important. What is important is that still small voice that's always talking, but you can't hear it because you've been listening to everything else. You've been listening to whatever you've been listening to.
Yes.
And that's kind of listening. Excuse me. That's kind of listening that has to improve, that needs to grow, so that you can be the instrument, the tool that you were put here to be. Because you're not in this by yourself. You just think you are. You go to bed every night thinking, woe is me. Change that attitude, change your life. Thank me later. Okay.
Yes. That's powerful. That is powerful. We really got to think about the heart that we have and seeing people for being the human beings that they are, because it matters. People feel when you scorn them. They feel that.
They feel that. And that's an energy that you're carrying around with you.
Yes.
And you attract that to you, and you wonder why people come to you and say and do crazy things. Look what you're carrying around with you. All that judgment, all that tension.
All that judgment.
All that's in here. All that's in here, heart, head, that's everywhere.
Yes,
and carrying it with you. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the guy who came back to see the lady, he gave her what the children called it, a band, a stack of money.
Oh yeah.
And she fell out on the ground rolling all over the ground. She's like, this can't be real. She says, my husband needs this, my kids need that, we need a car, da da da. She said, this will pay for all of it. She just fell out on the ground, just rolling. Like, hallelujah.
Yes. And that's the thing. People, when you give
from the
so
heart,
much gratitude. So much gratitude. Yes, it matters. It matters. People don't realize it actually elevates you when you love, kind, and generous to others.
Yes.
It helps your own soul develop.
Yes, it does.
It makes a big difference. Well, we got to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can help, how you can be a part of the many different ways that people are reaching out to ease the pain and the suffering of the unhoused. And at some point, we're going to change this system so that the people who are unhoused are no longer unhoused, but have a place to stay. We'll be right back after this quick break. So we want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in just one moment. So we want you all to stay with us. And of course, we also want to let you know we've got another call-in number.
Oh, yeah.
312-721 MICU. And of course, that spells out 6428. That's 312-721-6428. We'll put it on the screen there, and we want you to give us a call and give us your thoughts. Have you ever been unhoused? Have you ever had the experience of housing someone who temporarily didn't have a place to stay? And what was that like? What did you learn about how you may be judgmental? Think about that. So we will be right back in just one quick moment. So we want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment.
Come back now, you hear?
Yes.
Reminds me of who's that? Was that the Beverly Hillbillies?
Yes.
Cause when you come back, I got something for you. I want to tell you about an organization that I joined.
Oh, now that is powerful.
Who was a guest on the show? It's on our blog, tumblr.com. Higher Learning TV show. Oh, it's on my blog too, zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. One of the organizations, and I'll tell you more about that.
All right, fabulous. So we're going to greet our global family, and then we'll be right back.
All righty, we'll be here waiting for you.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
To you and talk is what we do. While you're searching for that, I'll remind our viewers to go to tumblr.com/higher learning TV show. There's a lady there by the name of Rose Courtney. She's not there. She's just on the blog. Her name is Courtney Rose. Safe Families. Safe-families.org. I'm on their list for reference as someone who can help them when they are in need. I get texts every day about mothers who just need a helping hand, a hand up. Need to run to the laundromat. I just need somebody to watch my kids for an hour.
Yes.
I need whatever I need. I need some gift cards so my kids can go buy some a bus pass, or just little minor things that we take for granted. I get texts all day, every day. So please go to the blog, tumblr.com, higher learning TV show.
And let me make sure I put it up here. That's tumblr.com.
/higher learning TV show. And that's Tumblr without an E. TUMBLR. Yeah. And you can apply to be a resource. And you may not be able to help all the time. It's just if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, because we all know somebody, let your village know, because they asked for a car seat a couple of days ago for it's like, I ain't got no babies. I don't even know nobody with babies. Everybody I know grown and old or dead. So it's like, okay, so I got to go through my database and ask anybody got a car seat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but
So,
and that's really what is necessary, is creating a database of people who can help. We got some comments here. Let me bring them on. And our dear sister Cinnabella Gill says, thank you for this conversation. We all need to do better to how we accept treatment and provide that treatment.
Yes, ma'am.
How we accept treatment and provide that treatment. Yes, because, and of course, she's our Friday host, Coffee Break with Cinnabella. Yes, that is definitely.
With a beautiful voice, might I add.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yes. And Jana, who is our wonderful friend from London, she says she's been trying to get in touch because we all carry judgments, don't we? In NVC, which is nonviolent communication, that's a group that she works with. She said it is called jackal speech, and we all do it, and of course jackals are known for being insincere. So yeah, that is exactly what we tend to do. We will pay lip service, but not really care about people. And then she says,
She did.
that you tried to call, but okay. So let's see if we can get through and believe our number that we gave out. Let me make sure I put this on the screen so that you can call in 312-721-6428. And it's also it's also a number that you can reach through WhatsApp. So that will give us an opportunity to reach our international audience as well. And we're excited because we really want to change the attitude worldwide when it comes to how we're treating the unhoused. I was looking at the history. When you go through something and that's the only thing you've ever known, you assume that it's always been this way, it'll always be that way, we can't ever change it. Yes, you can. This current system of housing, it did not always exist. And when you think about it, the earth itself is free. Why are we paying? Why are we paying anything? Why are we paying? We're born into a place where the earth is giving us everything for free. Why is it that you have to basically work for someone in order for you to have housing? And this system evolved out of the old feudal system. Let me just bring up, because I was, I just asked, how you Google anything and get some information. So I wanted to know when did this current system of housing, when did it begin? So this is what I learned. And the idea of using some form of financing to acquire a house or property has a long history dating back to ancient times. Early concepts, ancient civilizations, evidence from Mesopotamia around 3000 BC shows the earliest records of land transactions using clay tablets for documentation. The Roman influence. The Romans developed a sophisticated system of property law, which included concepts like possession, ownership, and the ability to transfer property, which included the development of modern ownership ideas. And then in medieval times, the feudalism in Europe saw land ownership tied to status, where land was granted to vassals in exchange for services, forming the precursor to modern leases. And now the evolution in the United States. In the 18th century, the Equitable Life Assurance Society in 1769 introduced a 30-year loan secured by property, considered the first modern mortgage. In the late 19th and early 20th century, building and loan associations became a dominant force, offering fixed-term loans with regular payment schedules, replacing earlier models often requiring balloon payments. And in the early 1900s, mortgages were becoming more common, but required large down payments up to 50%. Wow. And short repayment terms around 5 years, often ending with a large balloon payment. Okay, so then after the Great Depression and the New Deal, the severe economic impact of the Great Depression on the housing market led to widespread defaults and bank failures. So you see these movies of people out in the streets, poor and orphans and everything. And it says that the Homeowners Loan Corporation, HOLC, was established in 1933 to help homeowners facing foreclosure by refinancing their mortgages. And the Federal Housing, FHA, was created in 1934 to protect lenders and reduce lending risks by insuring mortgages, making homeownership more accessible. And then the Federal National Mortgage Association, Fannie Mae, was created in 1938 to provide liquidity in the mortgage market by purchasing FHA insured loans and selling them as securities. Now, in the post-World War II era, the GI Bill in 1944 helped veterans secure affordable home loans, including zero down payment options, which further boosted homeownership rates. In the modern mortgage market, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac began purchasing conventional mortgages in 1972, not just those secured by the FHA or VA. And adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, were introduced in the 1980s, offering borrowers flexibility with changing interest rates. And the Federal Housing Enterprises Financial Safety and Soundness Act of 1992, the FHEFSSA, aimed to increase oversight of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac through set capital standards proved to be too low. And in 2008, the financial crisis and beyond, the collapse of the housing market in 2008, fueled by subprime lending and a lack of regulation, highlighted the vulnerabilities of the system. This led to reforms and stricter lending requirements. In essence, while the fundamental idea of financing a home has existed for millennia, the modern system of paying for a house through structured mortgages and a regulated market has primarily evolved in the last century, spurred by economic events and government intervention. So what we're seeing is not something that existed forever. And you look at the roots of it is basically European culture. And we're in a minute going to talk about what other cultures did in terms of sharing space and sharing housing in a way that was communal. Mm-hmm. Now, the house that I live in, of course, we got this from my father, who was a World War II veteran. And this neighborhood, what was happening, the Black veterans were not getting the housing loans the way the white veterans were getting. So I believe it was Tallman Bank that agreed to finance 300 homes in this community that I now live in called Maple Park. And that changed the lives of so many because it enabled them to have a home. And my father kept saying, you know, you want to move out of the apartment, want to move the children out of an apartment and live in a home. So this is how this community was established, because we know there was a lot of racism in the housing market, and we know there still is. And then, you know, they tried to cram us into these housing projects because they didn't want us to spread out all over the city. So
Robert Taylor,
mm-hmm.
Brandon Green.
Yeah. So this whole housing thing, it's tied to an attitude of we don't want certain people to live nicely. We're not going to make it possible. And that's a meanness that has to change. We have to choose to create something else because this isn't working. And we can always develop something else. This whole dependency on a financial system that's controlled by people who don't have the heart, don't have the compassion, that has to change. And we can change it. Next week, we're going to talk about a whole new system of finance. And there are many people who are getting the inspiration to create something new that involves sharing and involves cooperation. We're going to be introducing a system called Service, Sharing Earth's Resources, Voluntarily Implementing Creative Exchange. And what it involves is basically choosing to treat people as if they're worthy of trust and respect and sharing what you have. And we'll talk further about that next week. But truly, we can't continue this way. Everything is collapsing. You're seeing all these homeless people. You can't have a society where people are living on the street. That's horrible. That's cruel. And yet,
Chicago.
Yes. I mean, it's getting ready to get real cold, just like it got real hot. So how are you expecting people to survive? Now, what happens when people don't have a place to stay? They go into survival mode. They start figuring out how they can do little things to, maybe they might shoplift because, you know, what do you do when you don't have food and you don't have money and you're hungry and your children are crying? You know, we push people into doing dishonest things by not willingly sharing. We create that situation.
And the system is set up that way. It is designed that way to keep you in a place you don't want to be longer than you want to be there.
Right.
It's systemic. And it's been that way for centuries.
Yes, for centuries. But as long as we understand that before the centuries of this, there was another system where people just shared. Even though the earth is more populated, you can still share. You can still have smaller communities where people live communally and share, just like what happens in the homeless community, like what your brother did, sharing what you have. That's the natural way of life. That's the humane way of life. You share,
and that's what's sitting on the ground. Excuse me for cutting you off, but that's what's sitting on the ground does for you. It opens your heart.
It brings you back your humanity.
That's why homeless people are always teaching us.
Yes.
You don't see it because we tuned into this.
Yes. Yes. But
And
the
this.
real human being shares. And you've seen that. You've seen how people are willing to, you know, like you say, give them a shirt off your back. Yeah. Oh, you cold? Oh, let me give you. It might be, you know, old blanket. It might be, you know, not the cleanest and smell the best, but they see you shivering. It's from the heart. So that's what we have to get back. Caring and sharing from the heart. And I have seen people on the street show more compassion than people living in these high-rise buildings and luxury apartments and fine homes. But sometimes those people in the homes are so scornful and so disdainful, so judgmental of the people that's living on the ground. And you wonder, where is your humanity? You have space to share, but you won't share it. Even with family members sometimes. You know, the attitude of, well, you know, get a job. Well, sometimes it's not your fault that a plant closes and the jobs leave and maybe you don't have training to do something else, because the way the society was set up recently with the industrial age, you know, everybody worked in a factory and everybody got their paycheck. And so your whole economy was based on, you get your paycheck, you pay your mortgage, and you work for this company for 40 years or whatever until you pay off your home. Well, that doesn't exist. So what happens when these companies close and you don't have that regular paycheck? What happens when you foreclose? What happens when you can't pay the rent? What happens when you can't pay? And then whoever owns the property says, get out.
What you gonna do?
And they say, well, you know, hey, too bad. The whole economy is based on you being able to pay. You can't pay, too bad. It's not my fault, but you got to move. So it's so disruptive. And if you have a child and you've got to move this child from place to place and, you know, teach them how to survive on the street in the cold and figure out how you're going to stay. I mean, and I remember when they started kicking people out of bus stations, because you know you could stay in a bus station all night because you never know when somebody's waiting on a bus. And they would begin to detect if somebody was homeless and weren't really going anywhere, and they would make them leave. I'm like, now how does that make sense? Okay, you're someplace where you can at least sleep, and they kick you out. But then the argument that the bus company had was, well, these people are dangerous and they might harass travelers, you know. So the whole thing is suspicion of people who don't have money as if they're dangerous. So what have you observed when it comes to suspicion? Say, you know, people who might be obviously homeless and they go into a store and they get shooed out, or they go into like a restaurant to use the bathroom, might get shooed out. What have you observed is just in terms of not giving people access to basic things that would help them survive, like a bathroom or, you know, a place to just get out of the cold?
I have seen the local Dollar Tree stores. I shop a lot at Dollar Tree. Excuse me, especially the one on Roosevelt, right off the expressway, because a lot of the people from Tent City, right there on Roosevelt and Connect this place, a lot of them shop in Dollar Tree. And I recognize their faces and I say hi to them and they see me and they're so shocked that I speak back to them sometimes. It's like, I speak to you when I give you food. I can't speak to you in the store. So we're always breaking down stereotypes and we don't even know it. But shopping there at Dollar Tree, when I see all these people that we're feeding and they see that we recognize them, that is the number one thing.
Wow.
Recognize them.
Acknowledge your humanity.
Acknowledge their humanity.
Yes.
That is number one. It touches them in such a way you will never know.
Yes.
It touched them in a way that food can't. And I know that's unbelievable. But baby, touch your heart.
You see me
automatically full.
Yeah. And I think that's the real message. If you see
Hospitals.
somebody that's outside, maybe going through difficulty, maybe holding a cup, begging, treat them like a human being. If you
Speak
have
to
something
'em.
to give,
Just say hi if you don't do nothing else.
if you can't do anything but say hi, God bless you, whatever, just do that. But make a person feel like a human.
Human. Yes. Yes.
That's the biggest
Because
thing.
you don't never know what your next. Everybody, if you're working, you 2 checks away from being on the street, and
Mhm.
it's happening every day. I see it all day, every day.
Yes. So next week we're going to talk about ways of sharing, and ultimately we have to create an economy where we share,
Mhm.
and we cannot continue. This is not sustainable. Having all these people suffering is not sustainable, and it's crumbling. And so we need to replace it with something else. We'll talk about that next week.
Bus
And
stops not good enough. Bus
yeah,
stops, benches, that's not good enough.
no,
You're human. You deserve more than that.
you deserve a roof over.
When you pray tonight and you pray all day, ask your ancestors for directions. It'll come.
Mm,
You got to
yeah.
turn. You got to turn outside sources off in order to hear them, because
Ooh,
they speak in small tones. You can't hear them if you're not listening. So
that's
just
right.
remember that.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Zelda, for joining us today. I'm so inspired. And I wanted to make sure I put the information on so that people can give. Now, what is that website?
Safefamilies.net. It's on my blog, zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com, because I'm looking for the safefamilies.org. What I do with it? I just saw it.
So that's safefamilies.wordpress.com.
No. Zelda Speaks
Zelda Speaks dot
dot
WordPress. Ooh, I spelled word wrong.
com. Yeah, when you
WordPress.
scroll down, you'll see
Safefamilies.net.
no, safefamilies.org.
.org.
You
Okay.
know what? No. Don't put that there. Just put zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com, and they
You'll
can
find
scroll
it.
down and find it. Yeah.
ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Well, it's right there at the
There you
bottom
go.
of your screen, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. Go to the site and you can see all the information
Just
on how
scroll down,
to help. Just scroll down. That's right.
and
You
it's there. And share it.
Yes, share
And,
it.
and if it's not shareable, yeah, I know you know what I mean. Copy and paste
Copy and paste.
and
That's right.
share.
That's right.
No,
Sharing
it's
is caring.
bring
As
up
you always say. Well, thank you so much. And I think we got a couple of more comments here. Um, ooh, and Jonna says, "Did you know during slavery mortgages were paid on human beings?" Yes. Woo! That's right. That's right. You can get a
wow.
loan. You can take a loan out on your slave. Yes. That was property. You could. Ooh.
Wow. I did not know. See, that's what I love about the female solution. It- I'm,
Mhm.
nope, I'm the student. I am always learning. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Love that acknowledgement.
Everyone wants to be seen. That's right.
Rhonda of RonsWay.com. That's my girl. Oh, bless her
Yes.
heart. Y'all
Yes.
can go to her website, RonsWay.com. I took a yoga class with a 75-year-old bad soul.
Wow.
I felt so good when I come up out of there.
That's right. Yes. Oh,
Female solution, baby. Go to RonsWay.com. Thank me later.
all right. Well,
Got these old phones working this morning.
that's right. Well, thank you all for joining us. Come on back tomorrow for Mama Africa's House, and again on Friday for Coffee Break with Senabella. And then we'll be back again on Saturday. Of course, we're going to be giving you some information on global peace. So,
And
we are this Saturday, we are going to be live at the Soulful Chicago Book Fair.
It's the only book fair in Chicago disguised as it's a party disguised as a book fair. It's a party, y'all.
With us, got to be there and come
early in the morning.
61st Street from King Drive to Cottage Grove. If you're in Chicago, you know them streets. You know what that is. And
don't try to drive.
That's right.
Bike or walk.
Yeah, bike or walk, because we don't want you to get stuck in traffic, but we want you to walk the streets so you can buy the books and meet the authors. These been powerful voices of change and transformation. So come on down. You'll be there live.
All over the planet.
Absolutely. And then,
maybe
of course,
another planet or two. We don't know.
Maybe another. That's right. So we will definitely be there. So be looking out for us. And until that time, we want you to continue to shine.
Namaste.
Namaste.
See you at the top.
Ooh, I like that. At the top.
Yeah. It's the female solution.
Yes.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.